Hey, what's going on everybody? I hope you're doing well on this fine day. This is going to be a more laid back video where I just kind of sit and chill and talk to you guys about some cool albums that I've been listening to lately. I figured it would be a nice way to break up the pace from my regular content and get some more stuff out for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into this by talking about The Glow Part 2. Surely the lot of you guys already know about The Glow Part 2. It's a classic album, but I'd be lying to you guys if I acted like I was ever one of its biggest fans. It's not that I think it's a bad album, but I really love the first 3 tracks off of it, and I find myself having a hard time staying engaged with what succeeds it. I know, I got filtered by The Glow Part 2. Literally baby's first Mucore. But I just can't help it. I never want to rule out the possibility that it could click for me someday because I genuinely would love to hear what everyone else appreciates about this album. It's just those first 3 songs, man. Whenever I try to listen to it, I get so hung up on how fantastic they are. It's September right now, so I'm gearing up for autumn. I'm ready to start drinking apple cider and go to apple orchards and have bonfires, watch over the garden wall and play Silent Hill. The vibes of this season are nothing short of immaculate, and the way The Glow Part 2 sounds makes it one of the most quintessential albums to listen to during this time. Something that I feel was entirely intentional, considering the fact that this album was released just a few weeks before autumn would officially start on September 11th. Oh jeez. Look guys, I get it, it's the funny date. But the last time I made a video on this topic, YouTube got really upset with me, so I'm kinda on thin ice here. And why should I make light of it anyways? Because it's one of the more socially acceptable, safe edgy taboos out there? It was a terrible tragedy. And people were really upset when it happened.
Big catastrophe, and I'm Israeli.
I don't want to beat a dead horse by repeating the same bit I've already done on a previous video, so let's just go ahead and move along here. Alright, next up we got a hip-hop classic. That's right baby, it's The Blueprint by motherfucking Jay-Z. Man, what an album this is. One of the most mind-blowing facts about this album to me is how nearly 2/3 of the songs here were recorded in only 2 days. 2 days! You see, if you don't already know this about Hove, it's that this guy does not stress when it comes to writing verses. In the Joe Rogan interview with Rick Rubin, Rubin gave insight to Jay-Z's writing style, where he'll listen to a beat, sit down for 15 to 20 minutes humming along to it, and then come back to the booth and improvise his entire verse and call it a day. Meaning that a lot of Jay-Z's catalog is essentially just him freestyling, which is insane when you take into account the words he's spitting out here. Especially how, in contrast, Rubin remarked how Eminem is someone who's constantly writing out lyrics on a notepad wherever he goes. Not necessarily with the intention to use them, but just to keep himself engaged with the act of writing verses. It's always awesome to me to compare how 2 artists approach the concept of creating music, not to determine if one is better than the other, but just to humble yourself with the fact that when it comes to creating art, there's no right way to do it, and it's best to just do it in a way that feels the most natural to you. The possibilities truly are endless with it. But speaking of Eminem, man, him and Hove just absolutely annihilated on Renegade. Both rappers just spit pure venom on top of one of the most illest sounding beats that M has ever produced. Extremely indicative of the style that would show up a lot on next year's The Eminem Show. Speaking of other projects this album would foreshadow, this is also the major breakthrough for Kanye West as a producer, who along with Just Blaze gave a glimpse to the chipmunk soul style of beats that Kanye would later perfect on his debut album The College Dropout. I feel like all of these elements combine together to create a project that clearly demonstrates an artist at the top of his game. There really was no one-upping Jay-Z after this dropped on September 11th. Anyways, next on my list we have Low Kick and Hard Bop by Solex. It's a cool slab of sample-heavy indie-tronica that seems to be under the radar for most people. Something I consider to be a bit of a shame because I really enjoy this album. It's got a sound that's really reminiscent of Viva La Woman by Chibo Matto to me, and I love that album and I'm always willing to listen to more stuff that sounds like it. This isn't to imply Solex is that similar to Chibo Matto, because she's totally doing something different here. It's kinda mind-blowing the songs she was able to craft out of these old samples and modernize them to something that doesn't sound out of place at all for September 11th, 2001. Alright, what the fuck? You released on 9/11? You released on 9/11? You released on 9/11? Are there any other albums released on 9/11 that I should know about? Meow. Oh, okay. Got it. It only just so happens to be a fucking shitload of them. And some of these are freakishly on the nose, too. I mean, you don't exactly suspect anything nefarious from Silver Side Up or Glitter, but then you've got God Hates Us All by Slayer, or Dream Theater's live scenes from New York, which showcases the Twin Towers set ablaze on the album cover, at least before they would immediately revise it for later re-releases. Then there's this obscure Midwest emo band called A Drive, who released an album called Falling, with the cover art showing an airplane. There's also this anti-folk group called the Moldy Peaches, whose self-titled album features a song called NYC's Like a Graveyard, which opens up with the lyrics, New York City's like a graveyard, all the corpses like the way I play my guitar. Then we have this Techno Animal album. I actually have this one on CD and it's a fantastic album, but it's called The Brotherhood of the Bomb, and it released on 9/11. Even outside of the albums released on that day, you've got a lot of them that would disturbingly predict the events that would transpire. Obviously there's the stuff with Amnesiac's art that I talked about on the Kid ACD Secrets video, but you've also got this band called I Am the World Trade Center. They released their debut album in July 2001, and the 11th track is literally called September. Apparently the band chose this name because the two towers, equal and independent, together made up one entity and came to represent the relationship that Geller and Dykes forged professionally and personally, although much like the Twin Towers, they too would unfortunately collapse. You want to know what's one of my favorite things to do with album covers? Mirroring them. You can always get some pretty funny results by doing so. Take, for instance, The Doob, or perhaps Grorg Dad, Doob. And you also can't forget the classic Doob Panunka. Just take a look at this fucking Supertramp album cover. It's practically just begging to be turned into this. Whoa. And then there's the whole rabbit hole of music that has been affected by 9/11. You know, stuff like Toxicity, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, and GeoDaddy. And obviously, I can't make a video about 9/11 core without throwing the disintegration loops in there. Basically, this guy was making an ambient album out of degrading tapes, but then he saw the World Trade Center fucking explode and thought to himself, how can I make this about myself? But honestly, perhaps the most ridiculous thing to come from all of this stems from the fourth studio album by the hip-hop band The Coop. Now as you can see, there's not anything particularly interesting about what I'm showing you here. That's because this is the reworked album cover that was designed for the album's delayed release on November 6, 2001. The album was originally slated to be released in mid-September, with this fucking cover of the band blowing up the World Trade Center with a guitar tuner. They designed the cover back in June 2001, and ended up fighting to keep the original cover intact despite the attacks that transpired on September 11th. Group frontman Boots Riley had this to say about trying to retain the original artwork. There's been a whitewash in the media over the past couple days over what the US's role in the world is, and the fact that they kill hundreds of thousands of people per year to protect profit. Now how can I get to a point where I could be saying that on the world stage, and interrupt the lies that CBS, CNN, and NBC and everyone is saying? In my view, that would be by keeping the cover. Not because I think by looking at the cover you get all of this message that I'm telling you, but as a way to have a platform to interrupt the stream of lies that are being told right now. And you know what, Boots, I can understand entirely where you're coming from, but I don't think Guy Who Blew Up the Twin Towers is gonna be a helpful title to get your point across. So what the hell can you even make of all this? Is it a sign that there are darker forces at play? That deep within the sectors of society there lies a secret cabal who knows in advance the date of cataclysmic tragedies? Who with